Hi, I'm Gary Williams for ToolBarn.com's Barn Banter, and today we have a special Halloween episode. We're going to take a look at some of the scariest tools that we sell on ToolBarn.com. Stay with us, if you dare. Hey, you know, you shouldn't necessarily be intimidated when it comes time to use a brand new power tool. You should, however, pay attention to the directions, get familiar with how to use it safely, because a lot of these tools can really hurt you if you're not careful and if you don't know what you're doing. So, let me give you a couple of examples. This little baby, for example, is the Works Jaw Saw, the WG320. It looks kind of benign. Well, it doesn't really. I mean, these are pretty jagged, but let me show you what this thing does. It takes the place of a chainsaw, and it keeps the blade covered most of the time, and it's great for trimming tree branches and limbs. It's got a little bit of an extended reach, and you can get these devices with longer reaches if you need one. The other nice thing about it, though, is that if you have to do things, tree branches that are on the ground, you can do that without having to bend over and do a lot of work on your hands and knees. It's really a back saver, and the older you get, the better that sounds to you. Trust me on that one. So, the Works Jaw Saw MG320. This thing looks a little bit like, do you remember the movie Alien? I think it looks a little bit like that. You might also remember the old TV show Lost in Space. The robot, Robbie the Robot, he had hands almost just like this. He didn't have that part, but he had the, he had the claw hands. So, you know, there's a little bit of nostalgia, a little bit of modern convenience built right into this thing. It's really worth taking a look. If you've got a lot of trees or shrubbery on your property, things that you need to clean up, this thing will really help. It's also, by the way, cordless, which means you're not going to be tripping over cords as you go about your business and injuring yourself or anybody else for that matter. So give it a look. It's a great tool. Hey, you know, this is the circular saw that most of us are familiar with in our home projects, the 7 1/4 jobby, and it does great for just about everything we need, right? Great for those home projects. It's a good circular saw to have around the house. However, when you've got a really big project, you want this one. This is the Makita 5402 NA circular saw, 16 5/16 inches. Well, you could almost drive this thing to work, I'll tell you what, it's that big, but it'll cut 4x4s, 4x6s, it'll cut angles in those pieces of lumber. It's great for those really big jobs you might have, you know, deck building where you need to cut posts, any of those things. You can cut them in one swipe with these things as opposed to having to rotate the 4x4s or whatever. It's a really heavy duty piece of equipment. At just under 28 pounds, you know, it's manageable, and even the wimpiest monsters in those horror shows that you see could wave this thing over its head and chase you down the street, assuming it had a really long extension cord, so that might be what would save you. But no, it's a great tool. You can find a lot of uses for it if you do a lot of heavy construction. For those big projects, this is what you want to have. The Makita 5402 NA 16 5/16 inch circular saw. Check it out on ToolBarn.com. Have you ever needed to carve a headstone and found that it was just too much work to do that with a hammer and chisel? Well, the Arbortech Power Chisel may be just the tool for you. I'll tell you what, this little thing is powerful. It comes with a variety of chisels for all kinds of jobs, and it's really great for delicate chiseling, ornamental types of carving. It's great for chiseling for hinges and door frames. It does a whole lot of things that really come in handy around the house that are really kind of inconvenient to do by hand, by hammer and chisel. So this is a great tool, the Arbortech Power Chisel. It's lightweight and it's easy to use. If you have a need for this kind of a product and for those kind of things around your house, look this up on ToolBarn.com. You may just find what you need. Used properly, these tools aren't all that intimidating. You just have to read the instructions, make sure that you know how to use them safely, do things like wear proper safety protection, and avoid any unnecessary distractions like people screaming nearby, things that'll take you away from what you're doing. Now really pay attention, you'll be just fine with these, and thanks for joining us on ToolBarn.com's Barn Banter. Now look, all of these and a lot more tools are available on ToolBarn.com, so check those out and check us out again. Thanks for joining us.